Here's where this metaphor gets really interesting. If we're going to say, okay, let's take the commons of our roads and turn them over to, if we were to take the logical extension, where Randall O'Toole was taking this thing, where the Cato Institute advocates, and basically turn them over to Bain Capital. Turn them over to any company that wants to buy them. Privatize the roads. Let them put up toll booths and have corporations run the roads. That's, a theft or an acquisition of the commons, arguably. And consider, that's the sort of thing that would have to be done by government action. Because we live in a representative democratic republic, not a pure democracy. We don't actually, well, the exception of ballot initiatives, we don't vote on laws. We vote on legislators who make laws. But even when we vote on, or even with ballot initiatives, when we vote on laws, at least we're directing the process, or we're directing the process through the people we elect. So if privatizing roads, if taking that part of our commons and taking it private is arguably a bad thing, and I would say it is, but we can debate it. If there should be a legitimate debate about it and we, the people, should decide, then isn't the most egregious sin against democracy in the commons privatizing the vote? I mean, consider that for a moment. How do we decide whether or not we're going to privatize our roads? We do so by either, ballot measure or by electing people who would do that. But how do you know when your vote's been privatized and the private voting machine companies will not tell you how you voted? Will not tell you, what they know. This is I think the biggest picture here is this question of privatization of everything. Of course, the conservatives want to privatize everything. There's the top 1% would just, hey, love to live in a country. At least they think they would. Love to live in a country where, hey, we can travel on the fast lanes. We get, nice neighborhoods, quack, quack, quack. The problem is, if you've ever lived or worked in, and I've done both, countries where the rich really do have all those privileges and everybody else is poor. I mean, I remember walking out of a hotel in Bombay, India back in 1980, the first time I went to that country, and just being besieged by little kids with their hands out, beggars, with sores all over them and flies and lepers literally on the street corner. There are some very wealthy people in India. And they live in gated communities, and they've got their own separate fire and police departments, and, it's a libertarian paradise, or at least it was in the 80s. It's actually getting more that way these days. But to the point of the commons, if we're going to privatize the commons, do we really want to privatize the vote as well? The arguments that are made by libertarians and Republicans on these issues are, private corporations can do things more efficiently. The fact of the matter is that Medicaid, which is our health insurance for the poor, for elderly, it covers about 50 million Americans. Working people who don't make a lot of money, don't make more than $30,000-$40,000 a year. Medicaid is 20% more efficient. It operates at a 20% lower overhead cost than for-profit health insurance. So you privatize it, what do? You create another Stephen J. Hemsley or another Bill McGuire. You create another billionaire. These are the billionaire CEOs of United Health Insurance, United Healthcare. You create more billionaires. Over 100 people, make over $1 million a year at United Healthcare. You create more millionaires. Do you do anything for the nation? Do you do anything for the commons? No, nothing. Or you're providing the same service, but at a higher price. This is why we segregate these things that are the commons from the things that aren't. This is why it's insane that we ever privatized our voting machines. Now, you could say, well, hey, technology marches on. We used to have these lever machines. I remember as a little kid, my mom was one of those people who signed people in to vote down at the local elementary school. And I remember hanging out with her and watching her sign people in, and then they'd go and they'd pull the curtain in the voting machine, and it was a lever machine, and they'd pull the lever, and you could walk around the back of the machine. I did it. And you could see all the little gears turning, and you could see the counters counting. Everything was completely transparent. But more importantly, not only was everything completely transparent, you knew how the machine worked. The machines were owned by the government. Yes, they were made by private corporations. Nobody's objecting to that. I mean, walk into any government office, you're going to see computers that were made by private corporations. But they're owned by the government. Do you really think for a minute, even for a minute, that the CIA or the FBI or the U.S. Department of State or the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, whatever, would say, oh, yeah, sure, let's have a private corporation come in, install machines for us, install computers for us, and service them, and they run all the software, they maintain all the software, they decide what the programs are, they don't tell us what they are, so that when we're doing our war planning or when we're tracking down, bad guys, we have no way of knowing if they're looking over our shoulder or they're messing with us. No, come on, that's crazy. So if you're going to have voting machines, at least have them be owned by the government, not leased from or rented basically from a for-profit corporation. Have them be maintained in a publicly accessible way. Just like our roads should be. If you want to cut down on congestion on the roads, provide people with a better alternative. Do better city planning like they do in Portland, Oregon. Come up with good light rail systems and mass transit systems like they do in big cities here in Washington, D.C. I've lived here 2 years. We sold our car when we left Portland. Never bought another one. I don't need one. So we really need to have a serious conversation in this country about the commons. It needs to become part of our political debate.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
And frankly, part of that discussion should be the commons of our voting systems, something that even the folks that think progress don't seem to want to talk about.